What is limiting you from experiencing love all around you and from knowing that you are loved, that you are loving, and that you are lovable? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I know many of us have, let's say, self-conscious issues when it comes to looking at our bodies and how we feel about our bodies. And this might be one of the reasons why we don't experience love, which is why I'd like to have a look at how we can start feeling more sexy in our bodies, because when we start feeling more sexy, we can be more present to what's actually going on and have more intimate or more fulfilling intimate relationships. So that's what I'd like us to have a look at in today's video. If you imagine a little baby, maybe a 2-year-old, maybe depending on the country or the century, I think many years ago, the younger we were, what am I trying to get at? What I'm trying to get at is a little baby, a 2-year-old, that doesn't worry about how they look, what their body looks like. A 2-year-old is not looking in the mirror, measuring their hips, looking at their breasts, looking at their body and judging their body. I think I was going to say maybe even 5, 6, 7, but I think very young now, a lot of young children are starting to feel very self-conscious about their bodies, which is really sad. And where does that come from? That comes from the society that they live in. So our hips do not define our self-worth, but we're taught that our hips define our self-worth. We're taught that a perfect body is what's needed to be sexy. So my question is, what are some of the belief systems that your country has given you? I was doing some research this morning, and what came up was that the Americans actually have over 60% of the American women are extremely unhappy with their bodies versus about 30% of the French women. The French women feel that they are very sexy. No matter how old they are, no matter how they look, they are still seen as very sexy. And the French men still find women sexy. Whereas the American men find youth sexy. So what about your country? Share some of those beliefs in the comment section. So it's always very interesting to find out how different countries perceive different belief systems. So in the comment section now, how does your country perceive sexiness? What is sexy in terms of the body? And if you look at over the ages, in the past, sexy used to be big hips, big breasts, because it would mean that you were able to be a good mother. You'd able to nurture your child. Now, sexy is skinny. So it changes over time as well. So bring some awareness into those. So we want to be letting go of beliefs and images that do not nourish and do not support us. So we've looked at what our cultures taught us. What did your parents teach you? So what was it that they kept on saying? Again, with belief systems, is often not the words that they say. It is their energy. So if your parents had an issue with their weight, then it's very likely that you might have an issue with your weight as well. Did you grow up being told, don't eat that, think about chocolates or think about sweets. They were always something that was a reward. You only had it if you're good. Like if you go to the dentist, it was positive reinforcement. If you go to the doctor, at the end of the doctor will give you something sweet. So it was never about moderation in some places, in some cultures, in some families. So what is it that your parents taught you about your body? Okay. Was it something to be ashamed of? Was it something to be covered up? Was it something beautiful? So today we're going to do a practical exercise. I'd like you to take out your mirror. Take out your mirror, pause the video. If you are watching on the replay, get your mirror out or get your phone out and turn it onto selfie mode. And look into your eyes. Look deeply into your eyes in the mirror. So look deeply into your eyes. And my invitation is to, no matter how uncomfortable it feels, just keep looking deeply into your eyes. And look into your eyes and say, I'm willing to love my body. I am willing to love my sexuality. And say that 2 more times. I am willing to love my body. I am willing to love my sexuality. 1 more time. I am willing to love my body. I am willing to love my sexuality. And keep looking in your eyes, looking deeply into your eyes, and ask yourself, what are your most negative thoughts about your body? What are your most negative thoughts about your body? Where did these thoughts come from? Are you willing to release them? Looking into your eyes, asking yourself, what can I do today to feel more comfortable in my body? What can I do today to feel more sexy? And just noticing quietly what comes up in your head. And if you're watching on the replay, I invite you to pause this video now and write down everything that's come up for you. Do you remember in the live interview we did with Marie Munoz, she was talking about how it's so important that if we want to have great intimate relationships, we need to be connected with our body first. So if you are intimately connecting with someone and you're worried about your belly sticking out, you're worried about how you look, you have to turn off the lights when you're intimately connecting with someone, are you really being present to what your desires are in that moment? Are you really being present to what their desires are in that moment? Or are you always in your head? And this is a really, really great exercise. This is a really, really great day, transformational day to look at, okay, how do you feel about your body? And how can you begin to connect more with your body? How can you begin to connect more with your senses, your sight, your sounds, your touch is the word that I'm looking for. How can you connect more with all of these aspects? And it's inside out sexuality, not outside in. So when you're in awareness of what society, what all the outside views are, you can begin thinking, okay, how can I begin for the first time maybe in your entire life to begin to feel sexy? And what does that look like? And as always, it is about doing one thing every day. What one thing are you going to do today? And my invitation is write down in the comments below so we can get some ideas of what you're doing and maybe we'll be inspired together. What one thing are you going to do to connect with the sexiness within you? So the willingness within me to explore how to feel more sexy greets the willingness within you to experiment and feel more sexy. Namaste, beautiful souls. I will see you in video 3 tomorrow. Bye.